Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Knock at the Cabin Door, the new M. Night Shyamalan film about a gay couple and their kid going out to a cabin and encountering what I'm going to assume is a cult. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. There's Dave Batista there. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. This kind of looks like the Pineys. Books 1 through 9 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle Unlimited is free. All right, it looks good. M. Night Shyamalan, who I met, by the way. I played basketball with him one time. Nice guy. He often has really interesting setups. I'll say that. And I did like The Sixth Sense, but some of his other movies they have great setups and they're great for the trailer, and then you watch the movie and you go, what? And I did like the Bruce Willis movie where he's the superhero. I thought that was pretty good. I didn't see the sequel, though. This looks, I mean, I like the tone of it. He seems to kicked up his game a bit, but I'm not sure the payoff could be as big as it's starting. Is that Ed Sheeran? Is that him? I think it's him. Anyhow, like they bust into the cabin and take the family hostage and say, you have to make a terrible choice or the world will end. That's a big pitch, right? A great pitch if you could somehow make it true. The only other explanation is these guys are crazy, and then you're going back and forth with, are they crazy, are they not? Do they actually have this power or whatever it is? I don't know if you can make this pay off, man. I don't know. I'm going to lean towards no, but there's a synopsis here, and it's coming out in February, and that's not a good sign. They drop movies. February's the dead slot. So they're hoping the movie does well, despite there's nothing against it. But let's read it. While vacationing at a remote cabin, a young girl and her parents are taken hostage by 4 armed strangers who demand that the family make an unthinkable choice to avert the apocalypse. With limited access to the outside world, the family must decide what they believe before all is lost. The visionary filmmaker M. Night Shyamalan, Knock at the Cabin stars Dave Batista, Dune, Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, Tony Award-winning Emmy nominee Jonathan Groff, Hamilton, Mindhunter, Ben Aldridge, Pennyworth, Fleabag, BAFTA nominee Nikki Muka Bird, Persuasion, and Old. I think that was his other movie. Newcomer Christina Koo, Abby Quinn, Little Women, Landline, and Rupert Grint. Oh, that's Rupert Grint on the right. Oh, Harry from the Harry Potter. That's, what's his name? Ron Weasley. That's Ron Weasley. Ron was in another movie, I forget, with the vampire guy from the Kate Beckinsale movie. And that was pretty good. Yeah, it didn't really. Oh, it's based on a national bestseller called The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. Okay, so it's based on a book. All right. Well, that sort of buoys my sense of this movie then. If it's based on a book, I think that's probably a better move. M. Night Shyamalan, I mean, again, he had some good ideas. February 3rd. Screenplay by, M. Night Shyamalan, Steve Desmond, and Michael Sherman. Not the author, huh? Why wouldn't he be in the mix? Produced by M. Night Shyamalan, Mark Beanstalk, and Ashwin Rajan, who produced Servant and Glass. Beanstalk did Split and Glass. Executive producer Steven Schneider and Chris V. Constantinopolis and Ashley Fox. So, you know, we've gone from there is not enough info on these movies in the trailer Now there's too much info. He does not look... Grint looks totally different in this movie, doesn't he? He doesn't look like Ron Weasley. His face has changed or something. Dave Batista looks like Dave Batista in glasses. I don't know what this is. They're not really telling you. Are they a cult? I think the whole movie is going to be, is it real or is it fake? You know? Are they actually making a decision or are they not? It's like a Twilight Zone episode, right? It's going to be a big twist at the end. And what's the big twist? Well, let's break it down. So the first act is, oh, they're a happy family. They're going to this cabin in the woods, and it's going to be a fun time for all. Oh, we're going to have a fun time. We're a gay couple. It's going to be fun. And then there's a strange knock at the door. Giant Dave Batista with his many tattoos shows up, walking through the woods. It's creepy. Thus begins the second act. They fight him off as they break into the cabin for some reason, and then Batista tells him the deal. It's the end of the world unless you make a terrible choice. What that choice is, I don't know. They don't really tell you in the trailer. Maybe some of you have read the book. I don't know what the terrible choice could be. That one of them has to die, that they have to kill their kid, it's got to be something big like that, right? Or they have to kill other people. What else could it be? You know? They got to make a terrible choice. I mean, that's as terrible as it gets, right? But why would they have to make that choice? How could you make that choice? What would lead you to make that choice? I mean, I don't know. Was one of them infected by something? You got to kill him to stop the infection? How would these guys know that? How they're not scientists. Again, it looks like some sort of crazy cult. I mean, they're sufficiently scary. You've got to make a terrible choice. For what? All right, let's say the world has ended outside the cabin, unbeknownst to this nice family. Okay, then just show them the proof the world is ending. They'll be on board with your agenda, whatever the hell it has to be. I mean, what could it be? You know, it could be a lot of different things because M. Night Shyamalan is pretty creative. I mean, you know, as much as I didn't like that Mark Wahlberg movie, it had a great, The Happening. It had a great trailer. It looked intriguing to me. The execution was just like, at the end of the day, it wasn't so hot. I mean, I didn't think it was the worst movie in the world. I think people panned it unfairly to some degree, but the problem was the way, well, I don't want to get into that. So, I don't know. Is this a bait and switch kind of thing? They're going to set this up and it's never going to pay off. It sounds to me like these guys are crazy. So whatever choice they're giving them is totally artificial and they just need to escape and get away. For some reason they didn't. And for some reason these wackos are picking on people out in the middle of the woods. But it's M. Night Shyamalan. So I would say, you know, you got the first act. Everything's nice. Then these guys come. The second act is about, are they crazy? Is it for real? They show whatever evidence they have. Something starts to convince them. And then in the third act, they're not totally convinced, but they're not totally unconvinced. And they escape. Maybe they finally kill Dave Batista and his guys. And then they get away, only to find out that they've made the wrong choice. And the world is ending. And it's their fault. The end. That's the way I see this going down. I think it's the only way it could go down. Because then the alternative is they're just crazy. And that to me feels more like a bait and switch, right? So you watch the whole movie and they're telling you all this crazy stuff. And then it turns out they are crazy. That's kind of not a big payoff. A big payoff is, yes, the world is ending and you've made the wrong choice. Everything they said was true is more interesting than everything they said was just crazy. So, you know, But I mean, I like M. Night Shyamalan, but like the gap between his good movies and his movies who aren't great is kind of sheer, right? If you look at The Sixth Sense, I think it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And, you know, big twist. What a twist at the end. But it just, part of the problem is if you're expecting the twist and you're watching a 2-hour movie or 90-minute movie or whatever, you're kind of looking for, I know what this, you're looking. You're trying to figure out the mystery before the end. And that's a real problem. Unless you have a really, really good story and a really, really good writer. It's really tough to pull off. Because I've written Twilight Zone episodes, and they're pretty, you gotta figure them out. You really do. And it's really tough to surprise people. It really is. And then, of course, the payoff for a movie has to be huge. Like, a Twilight Zone, the bar is a little lower because it's a TV show. Because it's episodic television. So you can have a one-off where the surprise isn't that big, but it is surprising. And you can accept that, but not in a movie. You can't accept a small, mild surprise in a movie. It's got to be big. It's got to be movie big. And that gets tougher and tougher with every year because there's so many movies. You know, this was part of the problem with Planet of the Apes. The first movie's great. The surprise at the end is great. Same thing with Psycho. Then you're going to do sequels. You can't, you'll never recapture that surprise because you're taking advantage. I do it in the first book of the Pineys. There's kind of a big payoff at the end that I can't do in the later books. So you take advantage of the characters being new and people not knowing who they really are, and then you kind of surprise people. But then after a while you can't do that with like a running series of stuff. So is this movie going to be good? I don't know. Would I see it? I'd wait for the reviews. I suspect that the studio doesn't have a lot of confidence if it's being released in February. February is a dead zone. They dump movies in February, hoping that people won't read too much about them, word won't get around, and there's nothing else to see, and this is the best of a weak lot. It's kind of how I see The Woman King doing as well as it did. There kind of wasn't really anything much up against it. You know, what's going to be up against this in February? Probably nothing. This will probably be the biggest movie. And it is a good trailer. It's exciting if you can make this pay off. I'm not super confident it will pay off big enough. It's no knock against M. Night Shyamalan. I think he's a talented filmmaker. I mean, watch the trailer. It's intense. It's good. Makes Dave Batista look very ominous. But can you make this pay off? If you can, it'll be a great movie. If this pays off as big as the trailer entices you, oh man, this will be a great movie. If it doesn't, though, you'll be like, what the F is this? Why did I waste my 90 minutes of my life for this? That's kind of how a lot of people, I think, felt about The Happening. You know, spoilers, the end of that, you know, again, I didn't get it. I don't want to go too deep into it. It wasn't the concept. The concept was strong. The problem was the execution of the concept of people just basically ending themselves. So, anyhow, I know it's not much of an analysis. What am I gonna? It doesn't tell me. Doesn't tell me enough about what that payoff is. You know, Children of Men suffers from the same. Is it Children of Men? No, it's. Oh God, the one with Vigo and Charlize Theron, The End of the World. It's not Children of Men. It's another end of the world thing, and Guy Pearce is at the end of the movie. You know what I mean. It's really good. And that one doesn't show you what the catastrophe is, but somehow it's a good movie because it sort of rises above all that in its performance and sort of the sacrifice at the end, although it's not, it's kind of a depressing movie. I'll tell you that. It's very depressing. But the character kind of accomplishes his goal. This isn't that movie. I don't think, you know, it's kind of hinging on that twist ending. I don't know, man. I give it a 25% chance of succeeding. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our latest and most based takes. Sorry. I will be at Second Time Books in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, Saturday at 10 a.m. for the big signing there. And then on Sunday at Lucille's Luncheonette in Warren Grove, starting at 9 a.m. Got to go early at Lucille's, get a table, delicious food, and that's it. See ya in the next one.